Do you know which portions we are going to cover today? Do you know that? Which portions are we going to cover today? Yes, from Augustine Romantic, correct. Okay. So my plan for today is, first, we will do some questions through PPT. First, I have planned to do some questions through PPT. Then we will unpack concepts one by one through discussion, and this PPT will be uploaded to the website by tomorrow. Or if tomorrow is a holiday for Vallabh, it will be uploaded by Monday. Okay? Do you all agree with this plan? Does this plan sound okay? Sound okay to you? Is it okay if we proceed like this? Okay. All right. Okay. So exactly, we have 2 minutes left for to 4:30. So once it is 4:30, we will start the session, because before that we have to wait for the students to join. Okay. All right. But I can tell you that this session today, you won't regret joining this. We will be unpacking many important concepts of these periods. Okay. Right. Yeah. How is the preparation going for you all? How is the preparation going? Is it going good for you all? Right. Okay. Is there anyone here who is going to appear for NET for the first time? Who is going to appear for NET for the very first time? Hi, Shri. You're curious about what? That why all this are so vast and all? Which one should I read? Okay. Shri, you have been okay. You have. I focused on areas of paper 1 where I was quite comfortable. So you have to identify the areas you feel comfortable in paper 1. Like I was very comfortable in higher education, environment, Indian law. Yes. Okay. Okay. So what I say just now is that many of you are there who are feeling a bit confused about how much time in paper 1. Not everyone will be comfortable with every portion, right? But you have to understand, or you have to try people and environment, higher education. Okay. I think the problems which they give from paper 1, they're not too lengthy. So you can quote, and it's already PPT wala question loaded. Okay. All right. Yes. Yes, Divya. Right. So let me share my, I will give you notes. Don't worry. The PPTs will be provided. Okay. The PPTs will be uploaded on the website. Okay. Can you see the screen? WhatsApp. WhatsApp pe to we can't give you notes. It will be uploaded on the website of bio. Now let me share the screen. To a synthesis of new historicist and post-structuralist framework. All right. Yeah. Through a synthesis of new historicist and post-structuralist frameworks. Here I have only given 3 options because the options are quite jumbo in their size. Yes, all of you are correct. It is option C. Viola's performance as Cesario. It exposes gender as a reiterative cultural script, while simultaneously revealing that desire in Illyria exceeds heteronormative containment, even as the play's resolution attempts to rhetorically restabilize social order. So how the binaries of gender are deconstructed, how desire is projected as fluid. Do you all remember the concept of Cora? Do you all remember the concept of Cora? I'm sure you have heard about Cora. So that fluid state of desire of Kristeva, that's very important here, right? Cora. You can think along those terms. I know that we are supposed to do from Augustan to Romantic, but I think these questions will help you a bit in understanding these major plays of Shakespeare. I hope you all are okay with that. And yeah, okay. Okay, right. Next. In the light of post-colonial readings of The Tempest, which of the following interpretations accounts for the paradox of Prospero's renunciation of magic in Act 5 as both a relinquishment of power and a final consolidation of epistemic authority? Sampreet, it is fluid state of desire. Yes, it is option B, correct. Prospero's renunciation operates as a strategic discursive act that reinscribes his authority by transforming coercive control. He's not coercing anyone into voluntary submission. This is ideology. This is how ideology works, right? It is not spread through coercion or beatings or punishment, but rather through voluntary submission. This is how manipulation works, right? Thereby reproducing colonial power through internalized consent rather than overt domination. This is what Antonio Gramsci, this is what Althusser talked about, right? Ideology does not spread through coercion or beatings or physical punishments. It rather is internalized by individuals through the consent that the dominant sources of power acquire from them. Yes. They don't go and beat people that if you don't do this, I will kill you. No, that's not how, yes, hegemony works. Antonio Gramsci, Louis Althusser, all of them have talked about it. Yes. Antonio Gramsci talked about it in his prison notebooks. Right? So clear how we can read The Tempest through the light of post-colonialism? Yes? Okay. Yes, yes. Chandrika, we will also do oral questions. Oh, okay. We can do easier questions, no worries. Okay, yeah, let's do some oral questions also. No worries, Chandrika. Yeah, no worries. Okay. Tell me, what type of work is the Pilgrim's Progress? What type of work is the Pilgrim's Progress? It's a religious allegory. It's a religious allegory. This work was published in which year? This work was published in which year? 1678. 1678, correct. 1678. Okay. Yes. Next, tell me, Apollyon is a monster in which work? Apollyon is a monster in which work? Pilgrim's Progress. Pilgrim's Progress, correct. Do you guys know about the coffee house culture of 18th century? Coffee house culture of 18th century, yes. Regarding the coffee house culture, which phrase was propounded by Habermas? Regarding this coffee house culture, which phrase was propounded by Habermas? Public sphere. Public sphere. Habermas belonged to the second generation of Frankfurt School of Critical Theory, right? Do you know in which year the first coffee house was set up in London? Because such questions can be asked, right? Socio-cultural details and all. 1652. The first coffee house was set up in London 1652. 1652. Okay. Who delivered the lecture of 4 Georges? Who delivered the lecture of 4 Georges? Remember the 4 Georges? Yes, it was William Makepeace Thackeray. William Makepeace Thackeray. Which 2 literary clubs were there in the 18th century? Which 2 literary clubs were there in the 18th century? Kit Kat Club and Scriblerus Club. Kit Kat Club and Scriblerus Club. Pope belonged to which club? Pope belonged to which club? Scriblerus Club. Scriblerus Club. Who said that we are to regard Dryden as the puissant and glorious founder, Pope as the splendid high priest of our age of prose and reason, of our excellent and indispensable 18th century? Yes, this is a quote from Matthew Arnold's critical essay, The Study of Poetry. Matthew Arnold's critical essay, The Study of Poetry. Do you guys know who wrote works like The Theory of Moral Sentiments, The Wealth of Nations? The Theory of Moral Sentiments, Wealth of Nations. Adam Smith. Adam Smith. So which movement happened during the 18th century which prioritized reason, the use of logic and common sense? Its declared motto was sapere aude, or dare to know. It was enlightenment. Enlightenment, correct. Enlightenment was the philosophical cultural movement of the 18th century which prioritized the use of reason. Immanuel Kant wrote the essay, What is Enlightenment? And there he declared the agenda or motto of enlightenment as sapere aude, or dare to know, or dare to know. What was the framework of religion, or which theological framework was followed during the 18th century? Deism. It was deism, correct. Deism. This 18th century is also known as the age of reason and age of dash. 18th century is known as the age of reason. Ayaz, you have answered correctly. Age of sensibility. Age of sensibility. What is sensibility? What is sensibility? Why sensibility is so prominent during this period? Sensibility. No. It refers to the ability to respond to others' distress or feelings. Sensibility. It refers to the capacity, the ability to respond to others' distress. Able to perceive also, but most probably able to react. If you can react to others' emotions. Do you guys, okay, let me make sure I tell you the title correctly. Do you guys remember this poem of Wordsworth? This poem of Wordsworth is called, just give me a second. It's quite a long title, that's why. I don't want to say it wrongly. Yes, I will explain sensibility, just give me a second. I'm looking for the exact title of Wordsworth poem, just a second. No, not Immortal Cure. No. On seeing Miss Helen Maria Williams weep at a tale of distress. On seeing Miss Helen Maria Williams weep at a tale of distress. What is this title telling you? On seeing. So here, the idea is how you react when you see others suffering. And this poem by Wordsworth captures the idea of sensibility perfectly. Yes, yes. It is the capacity or the ability to respond to others' emotions, their sufferings, their feelings. And remember, this sensibility is not just how you feel seeing others suffer. What are your bodily reactions to it as well? That also counts. Not only in a rational way, but overall, how your body reacts, how you act mentally as well as physically. Just a second, this blood bank promotion is going on. Just give me a second. Yeah, just fast. Okay. Yes. So it is more of an affect. Do you guys understand affect? It is the capacity to not only respond mentally but also physically. How your body is also reacting to it. Are your cheeks turning red? Are your feet and hands going cold? Are you crying? Are your cheeks looking flushed? Yes. So sensibility is not just about how you feel internally, but also how you respond physically as well. Both are important when you talk about sensibility. All right. Yes. Which questions are wordy? The questions I'm asking you, or those are the PPTs? Which questions? Oral or the PPT wala? These are wordy. Aditya, it's about academic rigor in language. And NTA is very stubborn these days about language, about using that language in questions, which carries that academic rigor. The language you see in questions these days, even PSC exams for that matter, they don't have that language of very lucid, very easy to follow. No. And that's where many students fall into the trap. They often fail to understand how language is twisted in academia. Big professors, they set these papers, and they won't make it so easy for you in a country with an exploding population. I can make the questions very easy, but that would defeat the entire purpose of practicing the questions. If there is no academic rigor, there is no scholarly tone, why do you think the central university professors train their classroom students with such essays? Otherwise, they wouldn't have. Right? We cannot stay confined to a certain language. All right? I know it is difficult. It is doable. All right? I hope you guys are not angry with me for following this, but I'm just trying to train you in a certain style of language. Yeah, I hope you guys are not angry with me for doing this. I'm not trying to boast anything here. We have done a thorough analysis of all the recent exams. RPSC, HPSC, JKPSC, NET exams, SET exams, GATE exams. And after that, we have come to this idea of training our students in this language. Okay, I hope you guys will understand. Okay, yeah, yes. And when I see many students stumble even scoring in full marks in reading comprehensions also. I've seen many students that take almost 15 minutes to answer 5 questions of reading comprehension. And there they are going behind many. So you have to just try a bit harder. Okay. Trust me, it will also help you to score full marks in your reading comprehension as well. Yes, you have 10 questions, right? In reading comprehension. Ho jayega, Deepa, ho jayega. Once you set your heart to it, once you feel determined, I can do it. Devote as much time as you can. You can do it. You text me if you feel difficulty. I will help you. No worries. Okay, I'm always there with you. No worries. You can do it. Just don't get scared. The moment you start panicking, you are half defeated. Don't let it happen to you. You can do it. Okay, text me if you need help. I will help you in any way possible. Okay, right. Yes, no worries. Okay, now let's do a PPT wala question again. This is a question from Ben Johnson. Which of the following interpretations aligns with scholarly reassessments of Johnson's humoral theory in Every Man in His Humor, particularly regarding the relationship between social performance and moral pathology? The preface to Every Man in His Humor, it lays down the principles of Johnson's comedy of humors, which was largely derived from medieval physiology, right? So now tell me. Let me see what you all are answering. B. Okay. Yes, correct. This play destabilizes the humoral paradigm by presenting characters whose humors are consciously performed social identities, correct? Thus, transforming pathology into a critique of urban self-fashioning and emergent bourgeoisie subjectivity. Here we see that. What is happening? Ben Jonson says what? That according to medieval physiology, there are 4 types of liquids in our body, and they are not equally distributed. Their distribution is uneven in our body. And that uneven distribution determines our characteristics, our personality traits. This is the core idea of Ben Jonson's comedy of humors. Look at any of his plays, especially plays like Every Man in His Humor, The Alchemist, Volpone. The focus is there on what? Urban people. How urban people are selfish people. They're greedy, lusty. They don't understand anything beyond themselves. So their self-fashioning, their personality traits are critiqued here. Okay, got it? Yes. Yes, blood, phlegm, choler, and black bile. Okay. Next question. This is very easy. In Volpone, what is Johnson mainly suggesting about deception? It works because other characters are greedy and fool themselves. Very good. It was very easy, right? It was very easy. Right. Now, here we have a question on Faustus, Tamburlaine, Marlowe. Marlowe was a university witch, right? This is very easy. Yes, it is very easy. It is intentionally easy to make you all remember the things. Which formulation best captures the defining logic of the Marlowean tragic hero? They are an overreachers, right? They're overreachers whose boundless aspiration destabilizes identity and ethical limits, producing both awe and estrangement rather than purely moral judgment. It is easy. Okay. Next, again, very easy. And intentionally, I have just put two options because here the idea is to make you understand and make you practice. See, very easy. In the Good Morrow, John Donne's deployment of the two better hemispheres without sharp north, without declining west, is best understood in light of Renaissance epistemology and metaphysical poetics as which of the following? Yes, overrated means they're overly ambitious, like Macbeth also. Yes, it's a cosmographical conceit that collapses macrocosm into microcosm, producing a self-sufficient epistemic enclosure in which love abolishes both spatial alterity and temporal decay. Love emerges victorious. Right? Tell me, for God's sake, hold your tongue and let me love. It is the opening line of. For God's sake, hold your tongue and let me love. It is the opening line of the canonization. The canonization. Okay. Okay. Who wrote works like Advancement of Learning? Francis Bacon. Francis Bacon. Which is that utopia-like work that Francis Bacon wrote? Set on the Bensalem Island, right? New Atlantis. New Atlantis. Who wrote Utopia? Published in 1516. Thomas More. Thomas More. Okay. Right. Is it going okay for you? You all can do it, trust me. It's going okay? All right. Actually, I wanted to discuss many things today. I had made a huge list, but since we are running out of time, I think I have to cut down on some things. Okay. Okay, next. Yeah, we will practice more, obviously. Next. Again, it is quite easy. Tell me. In Canto 2 of Alexander Pope's The Rape of the Lock, the sylphs are described as the transformed spirits of deceased women, specifically characterized by the earthly personalities. Which of the following correctly matches the personality tied to its corresponding guardian spirit as described by Ariel? Athia, you are right. Prudes become gnomes and flirts become sylphs. Prudes become gnomes and flirts become sylphs. So which supernatural machinery has been used here? Which supernatural machinery has been used here? Rosicrucian philosophy. Rosicrucianism. Okay, okay. Rosicrucianism derived from the book Comte de Gabalis. Comte de Gabalis, right? This Rosicrucianism was derived by Pope from this work, Comte de Gabalis. Who had requested Pope to write The Rape of the Lock? Who had requested Pope to write The Rape of the Lock? John Carroll. John Carroll. This work has a very famous preface, right? This preface is dedicated to whom? Arabella Farmer. Arabella Farmer. What is the lapdog of Belinda called? What is the lapdog of Belinda called? Shock. Shock. What was the name of the maid of Belinda? Name of the maid of Belinda? Betty. Betty. Which game was played in the Hampton Court? Omber. Omber. The Rape of the Lock was first published in which year? The Rape of the Lock was first published in which year? 1712. 1712. Alexander Pope was born in the year of the Glorious Revolution, 1688. True or false? Alexander Pope was born in the year of the Glorious Revolution, 1688. True. True. Tell me, it's a statement which I'm telling you. First, listen to the statement and then tell me if it's true or false. The Rape of the Lock by Pope shows us what happens when passions overrun a reason. True or false? This is what happens when passions overrun a reason. And you think that's why it's a celebrated work of 18th century, which upheld logic, decorum, balance, and reason? Because it is critiquing what happens when passions are overrun. When passions overrun reason, when passions rule you, dominate you, and you forget reason. And exactly this is the reason why such a negligible incident like cutting off a lock of hair was described in epic proportions. It's a mock epic for a reason, right? It's a mock epic for a reason. And the idea was to critique the self-absorbed vanity of the contemporary civil society. The idea was to critique the vanity of the contemporary civil society. The newly rich, most importantly. Okay, right. Are you all following? Is it going good for you all? Okay, I hope you will enjoy the session throughout. Okay, very important question for today. And it is my most favorite question ever. Take 1 minute, 2 minutes, but answer this question correctly. And if needed, I will do one extra session with you. I will ask my team to give me an extra slot to discuss these ideas with you because I want you to really learn these things and then go for the exam. So learn this, no hurry, then answer. Learn thoroughly, then answer. Here A is assertion, R is reason. Okay? Here A is assertion, R is reason. Okay. Let's read first, okay? Fielding's concept of good nature in Joseph Andrews, it constitutes a direct fictional embodiment of David Hume's argument that moral behavior is motivated by feeling rather than rational calculation. Here we are talking about which work of David Hume? David Hume's A Treatise of Human Nature, a work that tremendously inspired and influenced 18th century fiction. So A is correct. If you look at all the incidents happening one by one in Joseph Andrews, all the reactions and responses and actions, they are motivated by their feelings, instinctual feelings, not by rational calculation only. So A is true. Look at the R or reasoning here. Hume argues in A Treatise of Human Nature that reason is and ought only to be the slave of the passions. No, 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 no. Hume never said this. So A is true, R is false. Yes, extreme. अब बोलो कैसा लगा question? Did you all learn something from this? Yes, Arif, I will explain. So here we are actually talking about the novel Joseph Andrews by Fielding. It is one of the major novels of the 18th century. And here we are trying to understand how David Hume's work, A Treatise of Human Nature, inspired this work. In A Treatise of Human Nature, Hume elaborates on this very idea that how our behaviors, our actions are guided by our instinctual feelings and emotions. We mostly are guided by our instincts. We do not always sit and calculate the reason. Oh, okay, now let's wake up and brush the teeth. No. If someone knocks on your door, you won't think for 3 minutes and then open it, right? You hear the knock, you go and open it. This is your instinct working. If someone calls you by your name, hey Samrit, will you think for, okay, someone is calling me. Should I answer? What if they kill me if I answer? Will you think like this? No. We humans are mostly guided by our instinctual feelings and emotions, our instinctual responses. That's what this idea is. And Hume never said this ever throughout his philosophical career. The reason is and ought only to be the slave of passions. Never. Completely wrong idea, right? So A is true, but R is false. Is it a clear, Arif and Samrit? Yes? Okay, all right. It is David Hume, the Scottish philosopher. David Hume, the Scottish philosopher. All right. Okay. Now we have a question from Coleridge's Kubla Khan. Coleridge was an early romantic, right? Yes. Thank you, Anjali. Okay. Next. Coleridge's Kubla Khan. Very easy question. Very easy. Yes, very good. Very good. It will be 1, 2, and 4. This poem is indeed a fragment because the composition was interrupted by Visitor from Porlock, as noted in 1816 preface. In this poem, the sunny pleasure dome and the cavern, and the caves of ice symbolize synthesis of opposing creative forces, order and chaos, within the human imagination, human psyche. And this means also true that the Abyssinian maid and her dulcimer serve as a symbol of the inspirational power of music, which the speaker wishes to revive to create his own visionary art. So 1, 2, 4. Right? Yes, yes. 3 is wrong. Because think about the ending of Kubla Khan. How does this poem end? Tell me. It ends with what? An imagery of the mad poet. Poet? Yes. Poet possessed by divine inspiration. Right. That's the imagery that this poem ends with. The mad possessed poet. The poet who has received divine inspiration. That's the idea that this poem ends with. And nowhere in this poem does Coleridge talk about any integration into that empire of Kubla Khan. No, absolutely not. If you are well known with Plato's dialogues, especially Iron, you will remember how Plato talked about the concept of rings of inspiration and the idea of divine inspiration that poets receive. That's the exact idea that Coleridge borrows here. The idea of the mad poet. Let me open the ending, yes, of that poem once, and we can read this together so that it gets clearer to you that why and how the idea of mad poet is coming here. So there is no integration into the empire of the Kubla Khan and all that, nothing like that. Okay, let me open the poem. Yes. The last paragraph of this poem is the most beautiful one, I feel. Yeah, just a second. Huh. And all who heard should see them there, and all should cry, beware, beware. His flashing eyes, his floating hair. Look at this imagery. His flashing eyes, his floating hair. Description of someone who has been possessed, who has received divine inspiration. Weave a circle round him thrice. Again, a theological imagery. Weave a circle round him thrice, and close your eyes with holy dread. Think about it. I know I'm digressing a bit, but holy dread. Don't you think it's an oxymoron? How something holy can be dreadful? Because holy means the perceived inspiration. But as a result, how he's appearing to the others, that's a bit dreadful. With his flashing eyes and floating hair. He's out of himself. Right? Yes, and close your eyes with holy dread. For he on honeydew. Honeydew means manna. Manna is the food of gods. For he on honeydew hath fed and drunk the milk of paradise. Yes, yes. So this is what we're talking about here. Okay? Is it clear? Okay. In which work Coleridge talked about primary imagination, secondary imagination, fancy, Biographia Literaria. Biographia Literaria was published in which year? 1817. 1817. Coleridge calls secondary imagination as also dash. Assemblastic power. He calls the secondary imagination as assemblastic power, means the power to fuse things into one. This power of fusion. He calls the secondary imagination as assemblastic power. Yes. Okay. Okay. Again, a bit long question, but please do it. I hope you will like it. Yes, pressure. Okay. Right. B, 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 D, C, D. Okay, let's see. Statement 3 is true, but 1, 2, and 4 are false. C would be correct. C. 3 is true. Because, see, what happened to Zoom? Okay, I think everything is going okay. Yeah. So here, the ache described in the opening stanza, my heart aches and the drowsy numbness pains. It arises from a profound sense of envy towards the nightingale's careless life. Okay, understood. But freedom from mortality. How is the bird free from mortality? Right, that's wrong. The bird is also mortal. The bird will also die someday. So the bird is not free from mortality. It's very much mortal. So 1 is wrong. The nightingale is labeled as an immortal bird because he believes the actual biological bird does not die. Very wrong, very foolish statement. The poem rejects a draft of vintage, correct? Vintage wine in favor of the viewless wings of poesy, correct? As the preferred means of escaping the weariness, the fever, and the fret of human existence, correct? The concluding question, do I wake or sleep, suggests that the poet has permanently merged his identity. Stupid statement. This one is also wrong. So only 3 is correct, the others are wrong. Clear? Clear? Okay. Next. Do we have any more? No, okay. From here we have questions on Victorian fiction. We won't do that today. No. 2 cannot be correct. 2, I will explain. Third statement, right? So here, if you look at the poem, I will just show you the poem. Wait. You will understand. Just give me a second. Because these are highly textual questions. Because these are widely prescribed poems and they might ask you such assertion-based questions. Just give me a second, I will open the poem. See? Read this. Yes, the PPT will be uploaded. Oh, for a draft of vintage that had been cooled a long age. The deep delved earth, testing of flora and the country green, dance and provencal song, and sunburnt mirth. Oh, for a beaker full of the warm south, full of the true, the blushful hippocrene, with beaded bubbles winking at the brim, and purple stained mouth, that I might drink and leave the world unseen, and with thee fade away into the forest dim. And the next paragraph, I think it says, for fade far away, dissolve and quite forget what thou among the leaves hast never known. The weariness, the fever, and the fret, here where men sit and hear each other groan. Away, away, for I will fly to thee, not charioted by sea. This is the line. Away, away, for I will fly to thee, not charioted by bakers and spurs, means not through the medium of wine and intoxication, but on the viewless wings of poesy, though the dull brain perplexes and retards. He wants to be forgotten by this world. He wants to be invisible to the sufferings of this world. But he wants this transition to happen, not through the intoxication of opium or wine, but through the viewless wings of poetry. Yes, Bacchus is the god of wine, correct. Bacchus, actually, not only wine, but also ecstasy, right? Yes. Is it clear? Shaping power. SM plastic power means the power to fuse different things into something new. SM plastic power means the power of fusion. It's the power to create something new. Yes. Is it clear now, all of you? Clear? Okay. Right. Let me ask you some questions. Who are the 4 whales of the English novel? Who are the 4 whales of the English novel? Samuel Richardson, Fielding, Tobias Smollett, and Lawrence Sterne. Okay. Do you guys know about Tristram Shandy and the bundle theory of the self? Actually, we have so much to do today. It's unfair. We have only 1 hour. I wanted to talk to you guys about also the philosophy of turning away in Wordsworth. And I had many things in mind, but now I only have 7 minutes left. I cannot extend timings like this because this might clash with other sessions. No, yeah. Sunday I won't be there, so I will talk to the team if they can give me any other slot. Yes, I will talk to the team, okay, about this. To talk about Aditya's question, sometimes anarchy is necessary. Tell me, who wrote the first book on the idea of anarchy in English? Who wrote the first book on the idea of anarchy in English? Nahi. Yes, Ravi. Godwin. Godwin wrote An Enquiry into Political Justice. That's the first book on anarchy in English. Okay, yes. I had many things to talk about. Wait. Tell me, I'm giving you a statement, if it is true or false. You all know about Tristram Shandy, right? The novel by Lawrence Sterne. Tristram Shandy's formal instability, its digressions, interruptions, and narrative self-contradictions. It constitutes a deliberate fictional enactment of Hume's bundle theory of the self. Yes, correct. And how would you justify this through Hume's bundle theory of the self? Yes, that's what I'm exactly going to do. Hume's bundle theory of self argues that personal identity consists in a continuous, unbroken stream of consciousness, rather than a succession of discrete, loosely connected perceptions. Yes, and this is exactly what is reflected in the narrative style of Tristram Shandy. Yes, bundle theory of self. Bundle theory of the self. Samjhay? How the narrative of Tristram Shandy is inspired by David Hume's bundle theory of the self. If you have any confusion, please let me know. It's okay, Sam, don't worry at all. I'm just exposing you all to these things. It's okay. I will repeat. The thing is, the narrative style of Tristram Shandy. We know that it's a novel with postmodern sensibilities. It uses techniques like stream of consciousness, even in 18th century, when stream of consciousness was not even a thing back then. But in that novel, for the first time, we see how train of conscious thought actually works. When you start thinking about something consciously, there will be digressions, there will be interruptions or breaks. There will be contradictions. And this is what exactly how the narrative of Tristram Shandy looks like. Because it captures the conscious, continuous thoughts of the speaker. And this is what the bundle theory of self, David Hume, talks about. David Hume, in his work, A Treatise of Human Nature, he said exactly this. Yes, that's our personal identity, our very self. It consists in a continuous, unbroken stream of consciousness, rather than succession of discrete, loosely connected perceptions. It is continuous, like the stream of consciousness. It is conscious and continuous, but with breaks and digressions. Yes, Tristram is unable to share story narrative is broken. Yes, yes. It has a digressions also, right? Yes, correct. Very good. Progressive, digressive, yes. Sort of like, yeah, yes, Urvashi. Yes, yes. Always changing, correct. Like your memories, the memories are not real reality. So our self is just fragments of reality, yes, we just remember involuntarily. Yes, yes. Yes, we're temporal, yes. Okay. We have 2 more minutes. Let me do one more thing with you all. Let's talk about this. This is the assertion. Look at it. In difference in what, Nobonita? I couldn't catch your question. There is no difference exactly with stream of consciousness. Both are almost same. But back then, stream of consciousness was not known to the people as a concept. Okay? I'm not sharing the screen. I will tell you. Wait. In 18th century, stream of consciousness was not even devised as a concept back then. It was only in later 19th century that William James, in his book, Principles of Psychology, first formally propounded this concept of stream of consciousness. And then it was extensively employed by high modernists like Dorothy Richardson, Virginia Woolf, James Joyce, right? But think about it. Though in 18th century, the official concept was not there, though there's a phrase, stream of consciousness was not there in the vocabulary of philosophers and authors, still, they had consciousnesses, right? They had consciousnesses. They were conscious people. They knew how consciousness works. And it was for the first time in 18th century, through this novel Tristram Shandy of Lawrence Sterne, that this idea of continuous conscious thoughts of an individual was explored in a novel. And that is the very reason why it's a novel of the 18th century, but it is very much postmodern in its sensibilities. It had seeds in it of high modernism. It's the first novel of its kind which focused so much on the individual consciousness, on the individual digressions of our consciousness. It was the first work of its kind which gave us a sneak peek into our psyche, our fractured selves. Okay, one last statement for you all. No. I'm just a student like you guys, okay? There's nothing like that here. I'm just like you all. Chill. I also learn so much through you guys. When you share these chats, when you write in the chat box, I read every day. I read all of your chats when you type something. And I learn so much from you all. I keep all these chats with myself. Okay? Supernatural dread and the limits of rational self-governance can be understood as a literary response to the cultural anxiety produced by Hume's skeptical arguments about the power of reason to govern human experience. Just look at this. We will continue with this in the next session. Is this statement true? That how Gothic novels focus on the limits of reason. Reason has its own limits. Reason is not all powerful. And this is why we say there are many things in this universe which science cannot explain. Yes, because I realize if you look at the landscape of 18th century fiction, no one will tell you this. But you cannot study 18th century fiction. You cannot study people like Jane Austen without knowing David Hume. David Hume mastered 18th century political, cultural, social atmosphere. Okay, so you have to understand whenever we talk about Gothic novels, Gothic genre, what is it doing? What was its agenda? It did not arise out of nowhere. Why did it arise only at a particular time being? Only at a particular time frame? Why Gothic novels became popular mostly towards the end of the 18th century? Why? To show that don't boast about reason too much. Reason also has its own limits. Yes, correct, Paulumi, correct. Counter narrative to rigid rationalism, correct. Both Paulumi and Ravi, both are correct. It shows the limits of reason. Reason cannot control it all. Okay, I have taken 5 extra minutes from you guys, but yes, we can end it. Robindra Jayanti is today, even I'm confused about the dates. I will, please can you ping me up once? Because I will get back to you on this. Okay, Zoom? Yeah.